In this tutorial, we're going to learn how to evaluate the articles that we retrieved to determine whether they're research and whether they're credible. Generally in databases, most of the information is credible, especially if we hit the peer review button when we do a search, which we learned in the last tutorial. I have looked through the search and I have selected this article as an example. I'm going to click on the title and open the record. What you want to do is evaluate whether the title is relevant. And by relevance, we want to make sure that the article supports or has anything to do at all with our topic. Next, we want to look at the abstract. The abstract will tell us what the article is about. And again, with keyword searching, which is what I did, I'm looking for the words that are highlighted within the text to see if it's relevant. If I don't see the words highlighted, it kind of means that none of those words came up in the abstract, so it might not be relevant. Another thing we want to look for is how new is this article. This article was published in 2010, and depending on what our professor says, is it 5 years or 10 years. 5 years is very conservative, and it's usually the most accepted range for health and medicine, but some professors are okay with things that are 10 years old. So if that's the case, then 2010 is okay. Next, we want to look at the authors. Are the authors qualified to write on this topic? Sometimes in the database, it'll have the affiliations of the authors. It'll name the institution that they're with or the company that they're with. Most authors are professors or doctors, and they have a PhD or advanced degree in their topic, and they're almost always affiliated with a university or with a government institution. In this case, we don't have the affiliations listed, but when we get to the actual article, we can look for the affiliations. The next thing we want to do is look through the abstract and see, in addition to being relevant, is this research or is it a literature review? A literature review is just a study that includes a discussion of all the literature, but nothing has really been done. No research has been done. So what we're looking for are keywords that tell us a study was done. In this case, I see the word "this study." That's a good clue. Sometimes in bold or highlighted letters it says study, design, and methods, like in this case. And sometimes it's more difficult. But what we're really looking for are words that tell us that something was done, data was collected, people were spoken to, and there were analyses done. That will tell us that it's research. So let's open up the full text and see if we can evaluate this a little further. We want to look at there. Here we have the full text of the article. Here we again have the names of the authors, and hopefully somewhere in here it has their affiliation. I believe it's usually on the bottom or the last page. Okay, we will look at that. Right here, it's actually on the first page, it tells you where these people are from, who they're affiliated with. So we want to make sure that they're not working for a company that makes a vaccine, for example, against what we're talking about. We want to look for non-biased information. In the abstract here, we have more information. We have a background, we have study, design, and methods. Again, it's the same abstract we saw in the record. And if we scroll through, we can see that there's the methods section and a results section. There are charts and graphs. And even more importantly, that there's a reference section. If there's no reference section, that's usually something is wrong. References mean that the authors have validated what they are studying with other studies.